And then I had kids. And I realized I didn't know what madness was. But you know what's crazy? When I look back at the pages of my life, and I try to find the places in that book where God did the most good in me, you know what's interesting? It was almost always when the things around me were the worst. And it's almost like every time I pray to God, make it easy and comfortable, you know what He says to me? He says, Mike, it's not your circumstances that need to change. It's you. And I love you so much that I'm not going to let you cling to the things of this fading world that you love so dearly. I got to teach you. I got to teach you that you only get to keep what you've already lost. That he who tries to keep his life will lose it, but he who loses his life for my sake will find it. I got to get your death grip, your little Schmeagol fingers off that ring. My precious. Just let it go. Ring, boyfriend, job promotion, whatever. And you know, it's only because God made my life hard that I'm even standing on this stage, you guys. I don't know how many of you know this story, but when I was 17, my friend was driving us back to a soccer game and he flipped the car at 50 miles an hour and I went flying Peter Pan style to the street. Although I didn't land like Peter Pan. I landed like a sack of potatoes on the concrete. The doctor said I hit my chest so hard, it broke my back in 2 places. I broke my head right here. My ear was dangling off, man. You guys in the front, yeah, bro, you might be able to see the scar right here. I got scars all through here. That's why I wear my hair long, so get off my back. And you know, for 2 months I had to lay on my broken back. I wasn't allowed to get up. The doctors thought I was going to die. Then they said I'd never walk. And then they said I'd never run. And then they're like, whoa, I guess he's going to recover. God had other plans, I guess. You know what's really crazy? That summer before was when I was just getting my life turned around. I was just finally starting to fall in love with Jesus. I finally realized He wasn't trying to ruin my good time. He was actually trying to give me life. And so when I got thrown out that car window and I laid on my back for 2 months, it could have been real easy for me to say, what's wrong with you, God? I was just following you. And this is how you repay me? I didn't say that though. You know what I did say? I'm on drugs. I was on so much pain medication, it was crazy. And so, amidst that fog, you know, all I could think to ask was, hey, Mom and Dad, I don't think I'm going to play the rest of the soccer season. Do you think I could get a guitar? Because I'm really bored. And so laying there on my broken back is when my fingers started to learn how to play chords. And my heart started to learn to sing about His goodness. And I had no idea, y'all. I had no idea. This isn't what I thought I'd be doing. Sometimes I feel guilty because so many kids, they want to be rock stars. I'm like, I'm sorry, I didn't really want to do this. But when I hear, like a girl shared with us in the Q&A before the show, just saying how You Are More lifted her out of a place of addiction. And last year, this guy Patrick in Maine told me about how By Your Side was playing on the radio when he had slit his wrist and laid down in the middle of a highway waiting for a car to hit him. And he had given up on his life, and his wife had left him, and his kids were doing drugs, and he heard that song, and it was just enough to get him to get up and drive himself to the hospital. And 6 months later, he was back with his wife, and his kids had gone through rehab, and he had been totally restored. I don't say that to go, look at my spiritual songs. I say that to say, who am I that God would use my brokenness to bring Him glory? But you know, some of you're walking through a dark time. And you're still laying on your back, per se. And you don't see the light at the end of the tunnel. And I don't even want you to look at my story to get hope. You know what I want you to look at? I want you to look at the cross. And I want the cross. I want the perfect Son of God bleeding for sinners like you and me. I want that to be the evidence that your soul needs. That our God is a God who brings life out of death. He's a God who brings beauty out of pain. And you may be walking through something so dark that you say, there's no way a loving God could let that happen to me. But I want to propose to you that maybe our God is a God who lets horrible things happen because He knows there's more redemption waiting on the other side than we could have ever dared imagine.